Three. Juan Santos here. We are going to go into more common questions that you can utilize during specific cases. So for this video, we're going to focus on the VAWA case, and then we're going to also look at common questions that you can utilize in that case to increase to increase your evaluation's validity, if you will. So again, this is part or a component of the overall training in the immigration evaluation training that teaches you the common cases, teaches you how to work with the client all the way from the point of start to the point of finish, the collaboration with the attorney, as well as marketing your immigration practice. And then in addition, looking at how to write the evaluation, the complete guidance, if you will, to working in this practice. Now, the common questions that we look at, I always encourage clinicians that engage in consultation with to look at questioning the person's place of birth. And I know it's maybe not related to that VAWA case directly, such as that abuse that has taken place or the trauma that has taken place, but you're looking at if there's a potential secondary traumas. Because I'm assuming if you're already working in this area, you know that you're going to ask about the relationship in itself. But you want to look at those other areas as far as what was that migration process like for you? Did you have to trade anything? Did you experience any type of abuse when you came from point A to point B? Also, whenever you were able to come here, to what type of life did you arrive to? At what age did you come? There's individuals that I work with that will arrive, let's say, at age 15, and then right away they're not able to transition to high school or to school, so they have to go into the workforce. So you have this very early transition. How does that impact a person's psychological well-being? And then in addition, they may transition from their home country to here and have to live with people who are very distant to them. You know, they were used to from age birth to 15 years old to be with their mom and dad or to be with one of their parents, people they were connected to. But then they transition to a life with someone a little bit more distant. So you're looking at what type of interactions may have taken place there. Another area to look at would be barriers. Barriers as far as one with language. So one of the common areas that I look at would be if the individual is able to communicate in English as well as in the language that may be their native language, if you will. So let's say I'm working with a Hispanic individual, then it would be that they're bilingual. They're able to speak Spanish and they're able to speak English. And let's say that they're not able to speak English, which is the common language in my area. Now, what type of challenges have taken place? Have they been coerced and manipulated because of that language barrier? Have they struggled to find support? One of the common factors that I try to identify within the VAWA cases is asking earlier and before the incident took place, did you try to seek support? And if not, you know, what were the reasons why? What were those walls that were just too difficult to overcome? And some of the walls are the ones that are common that we look at as far as my partner made false promises. So there was that level of manipulation, coercion, or I wasn't able to work. I didn't have the work skill, or I was dependent on them financially. We have a lot of kids, and I didn't want to transition them into an independent life for that fear. So those are the areas that you're able to expand in that may be a little bit more common knowledge, if you will. But we go a little bit more deeper into some of these lateral areas as far as, let's say, language, such as I didn't want to call 911 because I wouldn't be able to communicate with them, or their legal status. I didn't want to call 911 because I'm undocumented and I didn't know the repercussion of that. So if I call 911 because my spouse is engaging in abuse and I'm the one being domestically abused, which is, of course, with the VAWA case, right? Well, does that mean that I'll be deported and then I'll leave my kids here? So again, with these questions, you're trying to dig deeper and deeper to understand if there's other areas of psychological impact so that when you write your evaluation, you can interconnect it in different directions. As you continue to work in this area with the VAWA, another area that I try to encourage people to ask questions about is their support system. So support system as far as, did you move from one state, let's say you moved from Texas to, I'm just throwing out states here, to Colorado. And then if your partner moved you from Texas to Colorado, did they do that because you have a lack of support system in that place? So then we're looking at if they were isolated. And then when a person is isolated, that can lead to feeling lonely. And then that can lead to escalation, if you will, and depressive related symptoms as far as withdrawal, loneliness, potential feeling that you're very distant from everyone else. And then maybe that could attribute to more of the psychological pain and suffering that's taken place. Another question or area that I look at would be if there's children involved, there's other persons who are in a way secondarily impacted by the trauma. So let's say that I'm the one going through the abuse, but my kids are present and they've witnessed that exposure to trauma. And we know with PTSD that you can have the direct exposure to PTSD. You could also have that indirect, where you are witness to that. So again, these are questions that allow you to strengthen your evaluation, to provide it with more validity, with more power, so that when you're giving that recommendation, that analysis and recommendation section, your findings are interconnected to different areas. And then again, you're able to also expand these questions to your attorney by letting them know that there are secondary traumas or there are other issues that may be able to be put into the evaluation. The attorney can give you that insight. So hopefully this training here was a mini training that went into more questions. What's helpful. I do want to encourage you that if you're serious about this area and you want to learn how to write effective and powerful evaluations, to utilize the link below and register for the training course. It goes into from point A to point B, how to market the specialty, so you're able to build a practice and increase your revenue. It also goes into the common cases, so you know how to work all the way from a U visa to the T visa to VAWAs and the other cases that are going to commonly come into your office. It teaches you how to work with your attorney, which is something that's very, very important. How to communicate with them, how to establish that relationship. In addition, it teaches you how to work with a client from point A to point B, or point all the way to point Z, if you will. And then it also goes into writing the evaluations, a template included, so you have that template as a blueprint. And then it goes into a guided lecture, which goes into every single section of the evaluation, so you know how to navigate through it. Hopefully this video was helpful. As always, leave me a comment. Take care.